Welcome everyone, Shabbat Shalom. We are celebrating tonight a double simcha. We are celebrating Shabbat, and we're also celebrating the holiday of Purim. We do things a little different around here, so even though it's not technically Purim, it's always a good time to celebrate Jewish survival and the strength and the courage of the Jewish people. So welcome everyone. We approach Judaism from a rational point of view, and we unite the two great revelations of science and religion, which both enhance one another. And they're both enhanced also by the pursuit of peace. This will be led for us by Queen Carol.
You can use your noisemakers and use them as instruments to beat along.
As long as you don't drown her out.
Shalom Alechem, Hevenu Shalom
Alechem, Hevenu Shalom Alechem, Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Alechem,
Hevenu
Shalom Alechem, Hevenu Shalom Alechem, Hevenu Shalom Alechem, Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Well, we are celebrating Purim tonight. If you're a basketball player, you might not like the sound of the holiday, a poor rim. Usually you like to have the rim good. You want to have a good net. But Purim actually is a Hebrew word. It means lots. And I don't mean many, lots like the lottery, like chance. And there was a lottery that Haman did to find out when he planned to do away with the Jewish people. Fortunately, his plans were foiled. But they say, why has the Jewish people survived so many years with so many people trying to destroy us? Well, I'm going to share with you what Jimmy Connors once said when they asked him, "You sure were lucky to win that tennis match, weren't you?" He said, "The more I practice, the luckier I get." So is it luck that we're still here? No. We have a purpose. We're born with a purpose to make the world a better place, to remove all the darkness. There's still a little darkness in this world, so we still have something left to do. So we're not going anywhere, and we're thrilled to celebrate not only Jewish survival, but also the Jewish people's ability to bring light unto the world. And so to demonstrate this, we have the candle lighting, but first we're going to have a song called Chag Purim. I just want to share with you the word Chag, because there's a sermon in that word. Chag is related to the Arabic word Hajj, which means a sacred journey. The languages of Jews and Arabs, Jews and Muslims are very, very close, and our religions and language is close. Every time you say Chag Sameach, we should think, we need to get back that close relationship that we used to have with our Muslim brothers and sisters. Chag Purim.
Chag Purim, Chag Purim, Chag Gadol HaYehudim, Mesechol Rashanim, Zimro B'Rekudim, Havana Risha, Rush, 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 Havana Risha, Rush, 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 Havana Risha, Rush, 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 Barashani.
Now normally I would do the English, but there's a law that was passed that prohibits me from saying the first line of this song. Because the way my dad taught it to me, the first line was, "Let's be gay." And now I find out that I can't say gay anymore. But here, we Jews are defiant, so I'm going to sing it anyway. Let's be gay, what do you say? After all, it's Purim Day. Let's have fun, everyone. Please don't go away. Oh yes, it's Purim, ha ha ha. Sing a song, la la la. Go to temple, sha sha sha. There we all will pray. Now, to celebrate the Jewish people as being a light unto the nations, we have someone who has been a bright light for humanity for many years. Helen Daniel, I'm going to call her up to lead us in the candle lighting. When you come up, Helen, if you'd like, you can read the script right here, and you can also add any commentary or rebuttal of your own that you would like to offer. And please don't repeat to anyone that I sang that song. I don't want to get into trouble. No, not me.
Maybe you'll get matches. I still can't find any. There it is.
The other one, yeah.
Do it again.
You can just put it in the flame of the other to light it.
Yeah, okay, we can do it that way.
You can do your thing.
Let there be light.
Okay.
Sometimes it's hard to get our light going, but once we do, we light up. And so, today may be a little hard to get going.
It's all yours now.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshonu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu haknekneh shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
It's such a pleasure to see such a great, noise-making group. And I want to wish all of you good Shabbat.
Good Shabbos,
Good
Helen. Yes,
Shabbat.
we do make a lot of noise around here.
Did you want to hear it?
Now, I just want to share with you something about the candles. There's a story from Taoism. The sun and the wind were arguing which is the more powerful. And they said, you see that guy down there with a jacket? Let's see who can make him take it off. So the wind blows and blows and blows, and the guy grabs onto his jacket tighter and tighter, and the wind can't blow the jacket off. And he says, okay, I give up. The sun just shines brightly on the man, and he takes his jacket off. What is the moral of the story? We shouldn't be a blowhard. We shouldn't spread a lot of hot air. If you want to try to win someone over to your side, don't try to badger them and beat them and berate them. Use the lights, the light of love, the light of reason, and let's talk to each other like human beings instead of arguing and fighting with each other all the time. That's what these candles reflect. Now we're going to continue with the Kiddush in order to celebrate the sweetness of Shabbat, led for us by Roberta Cooper. Roberta, come on up. And Roberta always has something interesting to say. So while she comes up, I'll just share with you that it's really a thrill for me to be here with Cantor Carol Garrett, her granddaughter Madison, Sharon, who put all this together, and her assistant Suzanne. Both of them have been leading this congregation for about 25 years.
Kiddush is a prayer expressing the sanctity of the day. The word Kiddush and other similar words, such as Kedusha, mean holy. The blessing expresses joy for the gift of Shabbat, the day of rest, and in honor of creation of our beautiful world and all that lives within it. I came from a family that was very liberal. My father, I guess if you asked, would say he was a conservative Jew, but he went to interfaith services, and I rejected a lot of the things in conservative Judaism. So he said, okay, and I was brought up Reform. And I've been since 11, still at the age of 11. So I've been ever since. And I enjoy Shabbat very much. I worked 6 days a week for almost 30 years. And although I believed in Reform Judaism and practiced it, I never took a job for money on Saturday. That was my day of rest and catching up with what I couldn't do during the week with 6 days of work. Anyway, I love Shabbat, and in honor of the sweetness of Shabbat, we have a blessing over the wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei puri hagafen. Amen. Good wine. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Roberta reminds me that many people think of Shabbat like all these things you can't do, all these rules. You can't do this, you can't do that. It seems like they make Shabbat into a Saturday. It's not supposed to be a Saturday. It's supposed to be a joyous day. We're supposed to celebrate the world and the universe and our lives, our family. Don't make Shabbat a Saturday. No, make it a joyous day with the wine, our symbol of joy. We're going to continue now with the Baruch Hu and the Shema. Don't we do the Shema first? Oh, but first, roll into dark.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, kolel mipnei choshech, kolel mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into night. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
Next on my program, it says Invitation to Prayer. Here we practice something called Cosmic Judaism, which means that we do the traditions, love the traditions of the Orthodox, of the Conservative, Reform, the Reconstructionist, Humanist. We take the best of all traditions, but we interpret it according to reason. Prayer to us is a summoning of the power within us to be the best version of ourselves that we can, and collectively, it's trying to form a vision based on the thinking and the seeing of our prophets and their dreams and goals of how we can together make this world a better place. I can sum it up for you, what we're after, like this. Oh, wait a minute.
Doom, 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 doom.
Okay. Now I'm ready to share this with you. Cosmic Judaism, the final frontier. This is the journey of the Jewish people. Its eternal mission, to seek new life by improving civilization, to explore new worldviews in the light of science, reason, and love, to boldly go where no religion has gone before.
Yay.
Now we have the watchword of the Jewish faith, the Shema, and then also the Baruch Hu. And if you'd like, we can do some responsive reading, although I'm trying to make sure I finish in an hour, but we'll read fast. Shabbat, like our other holidays, helps us to notice the passing of time and make decisions around how we want to allocate that precious resource. Together?
The Jewish calendar prioritizes balance, and Shabbat provides a weekly space to come together and notice a contrast between holy and everyday regular time.
We create nothing new and instead appreciate what exists. The Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai
if you've never been here before, and we do have people here for the first time, I do not always dress up as Spock, and our cantor doesn't always wear a crown, although I think it's very appropriate because she is the queen of music around here. And I had a conversation with a leader of the humanist movement, and he said, I'm in a quandary. Some of the people who are humanists want to retain the Shema just like it was, but others don't believe in an actual God out there, and so they don't want to use the Shema because it refers to God. So I thought about that, and I created English words to translate the Shema from a humanist perspective, but it still retains the original meaning. So I'm going to share that with you for the first time right now on this Purim.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shiel Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. The cosmos reflects a creative power, and this power is one. When we perceive this unity in our neshama, a new day has begun. Now, Baruch Shem. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Bohed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Bohed. When our lives reflect the glory of creation, the reign of peace is at hand. For the keys to this kingdom lies within us, once we understand. Siéntanse, por favor. Teshvu bevakasha, please be seated. And now, courtesy of Debbie Friedman, we're going to skip, and you shall love, and go right into, hope she doesn't mind. Did we ask her? We got her permission. Okay. We're going to go to the responsive reading again. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Let us walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts.
Now, our ancestors wanted to celebrate Shabbat in order to celebrate the magnificence, the wonder, the awesome power of creation. They thought it happened in 6 days. It was actually far more spectacular and wondrous than they probably could have ever imagined, over billions of years of transformation and struggle. But nevertheless, we share their sense of awe and wonder at creation, and better appreciate it now that we know, in large degree, how much of it happened. And so we sing the Vishamru, which celebrates the beauty of creation.
Shamaru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dor Va-Dor olam v'shamaru v'nei Yisrael.
Feel free to make noise if you like.
Ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dor Va-Dor olam.
There you go, that's more like it. Now we're going to continue with the Avot, the Yemahot, and this part of our service, our Shabbat celebration. We give thanks for the amazing sacrifice of our ancestors, our people, who gave their lives for a vision. As we remember their sacrifice, we ask ourselves, now that we live in this land of ease, are we worthy of this blessed heritage, and are we willing to do our best to carry it forward? Let us please stand for the Avot, the Yemahot. Read with me, please. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Socha, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, V'Hanora El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Koneh Hakol, V'Zocher Chazdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo B'Hava. Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. We are seated, and we continue now with Naaseh Shalom. Instead of asking for divine intervention to bring us peace, which is Yaaseh Shalom, we sing Naaseh Shalom, meaning that we have the capacity to be super spreaders of peace.
Oseh Shalom b'Romah, Hu Naaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom,
Naaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael.
Naaseh Shalom,
Naaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Naaseh Shalom, Naaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Naaseh Shalom, Naaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Naaseh Shalom, Naaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. You guys are a great band out there. I love to hear all this wonderful, joyous noise on Purim and on Shabbat. And now, the most important part of the Shabbat celebration, the silent meditation. It was Claude Debussy, I believe, who said that music consists of the silence between the notes. Imagine what would happen if music was just all notes and no pauses. Imagine if our life was just all action and no reflection. An unreflected life is not worth living. And so we sing beautiful songs, hear beautiful words from our tradition, fill our minds with great ideals and values, and then comes the important part. Each one of us, in our own way, takes a moment to figure out, how can I channel all this wonderful, positive, joyous energy in my life in the coming week? We take a few minutes now, a few moments in silent meditation. My friends, many religious traditions have meditation. I have to admit, the Hindus and the Buddhists, they got us beat. All right, they perfected it a little better than we have. But what we do here for a moment is really just a warm-up for the week ahead. Let us have many moments of silent reflection. And some of those moments are best appreciated in the world of nature. The natural world is the best evidence of a power greater than ourselves and can fill us with awe and with wonder. We also take time in order to remember those who are ailing. Laura Gallagher, Sherry Glass, Margie Goldman Spaderna, Nadine Herbst, Stephen Heyman, Valerie Jett, Carol Kahn, Gary Klein, Ann Kritzer, Dr. Sudhir Nair, Marilyn Paul, Laura Perlman Devins, Ira Phillips, Ben Pilch, Vivian Cronin, Bernie Rosen, Libby Rubin, Laura Santa Cruz, Harvey Shearer, Victor Siegel, Jack Silvers, Miriam Sivak, Fred Spielov, Jacob Feiner, Douglas Volan, Jordan Volan, Naomi Volan, and Sheila Winston. Any other names that you would like to add to our list? Yes? Yes, anybody else? Ron? Thank you. Anyway, yes? Marcy? Anybody else on this side?
Over there.
Yes. Yes, go ahead. I think it's Wendy. Yes.
Gloria.
Very good. We're hoping for you. You're doing a good job pulling through, and thanks for being here, even though you're ailing. Appreciate it. You're doing all right. Anybody else?
Mocha.
Oh, Mocha. Oh, yes. Mocha went all the way to Georgia for medical treatment, and Mocha's definitely in our prayers. That's Carol's companion animal. We say Refuah Shlema. We hope that the power that got our ancestors through some really difficult times will be operative in the lives of those who are ailing, as well as people throughout the world who are suffering so many atrocities. And we also hope that our ailing planet will also receive our healing care and concern. We continue now with the Mi Sheberach.
Mi Sheberach Avotenu V'kol ha'bracha le'imotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi Sheberach imotenu V'kol ha'bracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, their renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We read responsively. Purim is an unusual holiday in many respects. First, Esther is the only biblical book in which God is not mentioned.
Second, Purim, like Hanukkah, is viewed as a minor festival according to Jewish custom, but has been elevated to a major holiday as a result of its Jewish historical experience.
Over the centuries, Haman has come to symbolize every anti-Semite in every land where Jews were oppressed.
The significance of Purim lies not so much in how it began, but in what it has become, a thankful and joyous affirmation of Jewish survival.
I'm going to call up Alan Rubenstein and Donna Field to carry the Torah. We're going to pass out the groggers and the noisemakers. I guess you already have them. We're going to carry the Torah around, and then I'm going to look for the Megillah. I think I left it back there. So go ahead and do the Torah music. Everybody, do they stand up for this? Yeah, they can stay with it. And grab a Torah or carry it around. Around here's the Torah. Maybe you can switch. Maybe Alan, you take this one.
Tov, tov, tov lehodot, tov lehodot l'Adonai. Tov, tov. להודות לאדוני, וזמיר לשמחה עליון, לשמחה עליון. וזמיר לשמחה עליון. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני. טוב להודות לאדוני. עם ישראל, עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. עם ישראל, עם ישראל.
Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, the people of Jewish people live. Make some noise. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai.
She was a showgirl. When the king gave her a nod, she kept clothes on her butt. She would not cha-cha or bear her tatas. When she tried to be the queen, the king made sure she was not seen across the party floor. He kicked her out the door. She was young and she had morals, and he found that a bore here in Shushan, Shushan Cabana, the hottest spot in Irania, here in Shushan, Shushan Cabana. Music and fashion and sweet fermentation here in Shushan. They lost their love. His name was Haman. He had cut corners. He told everyone to bow, but Morty said not now. He was the Jews who made him ill, so he planned to have them killed. The king said, chill, the gallows too. Esther said, no boo. Got king to change his mind, but who hung who? You're in Shushan, Shushan Cabana, the hottest spot north in Irania, here in Shushan, Shushan Cabana. Music and fashion and sweet fermentation here in Shushan. The Jews are loved.
All right, now we're going to read the Gansa Megillah. Well, not the Gansa Megillah. We're going to read a little paraphrase of the Megillah, the story of Purim. When we read the story, if you hear the name of Esther, you go, ah. If you hear the name of Mordecai, yay. If you hear the name of Haman, then you go, boo, boo. Yes. And of course, before we read from the Megillah, we have a prayer that we do. We have a prayer for everything. When it comes to the fundamentalists, the very fundamentalists, the literalists among us, they don't believe in reason. When it comes, they have a prayer for everything except for reason and common sense. When it comes to reason, they don't have a prayer. But we do. We say a prayer for everything, including the Megillah. You're doing that, right?
Baruch atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedoshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al mikirat Megillah.
Then we sing the Shechiana, or Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavoteinu, bayamim hahem, ba'azman hazeh. Amen. Then we sing the Shechianu for delivering us, for the wonderful courage of our ancestors who delivered us so that we could celebrate this wonderful occasion.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehecheyanu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu, lazeman hazeh. Amen.
Now, I have this original Megillah in Hebrew. If I were to read the entire thing in Hebrew, you probably wouldn't understand a whole lot. So I'm going to summarize it in the English. One day, some people were plotting to kill the king, but Mordecai discovered the plot, and he saved the king's life. But he was not really that diligent about who he was picking for his second in command, and he had this guy named Haman. He was a megalomaniac. You know the type that says, I'm the best, I can do everything well, I can make Persia great again. The guy who thinks that he's better than everybody else. I'm sure you've seen him all before. And this guy said, everyone has to bow down before me. So Haman paraded himself through the town, but there was a Jewish man named Mordecai. He said, I bow down to no man. I submit myself only to the ideals, the Judaic ideals of love, of peace, of justice, and not to any human being. Well, Haman, he got really, really mad, and he's decided, you know what? I'm going to kill all these Jews because this guy, Mordecai, he comes from a people that doesn't really care to bow down to me. They don't like bowing to tyrants and dictators. They have values and ideals that are higher than that. And so he decided to kill all the Jews. And one day, he had trouble sleeping, and they read from the Megillah of his day, and he found out that Mordecai had saved his life. So he decided to have a big feast for him. So he said to Haman, what should I do to celebrate the greatest person in the realm? Naturally, Haman thought that he was talking about him. He said, put him on a big white horse, parade him around the city, and say, this is the man that the king wants to honor. And the king said, good, do that to Mordecai. And he was even madder than before. But Mordecai realized that the Jews were in trouble, so he went to Esther. And Esther said, what do you want from me? He said, you've got to save our people. Our people are in trouble. She said, I'm living in a palace. I got it made. I don't have to worry. He said, Esther. And I'm going to quote now from the Megillah. This comes from Esther 4:13-14. Do not imagine that you, of all the Jews, will escape by being in the king's palace, for if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, and you and your father's house will perish. And who knows, perhaps you have attained a royal position just for such a time as this. And so Esther foiled the plot of Haman, saved her people, and the Jewish people survived another day. Now, I'm going to tell you also the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. This part my dad never taught to me and never read in the synagogue. But afterwards, it says that the Jews went on a great massacre, and instead of being massacred, they turned into the people who perpetrated a massacre on their enemies. And the traditionalists and the Orthodox, they think this is a great thing. They celebrate the victory over our enemies. I think that's rather unfortunate, and it's rather tragic. We've moved on from that. So here we don't celebrate the death of people. In fact, my dad used to tell me, the best way to conquer an enemy is to make him your friend. There are certain people who are adverse to us that we can win over. Some people, sadly, we never can. You take some people who are just maniacal, and there's not much you can do. But there are times when we can make friends. So I just want to share with you also a modern version of this. There's another guy, when you hear this name, I want you to say boo. His name is Putin. There's a guy named Putin, and he invaded Ukraine. But the person born of Jewish parents, Zelensky, yay, is fighting back valiantly with the courage and the zeal of Esther and Mordecai, and is really the tip of the spear fighting to protect democracy for the free world. And so that concludes the reading of our Megillah. Thank you very much for your participation. Yes.
I'd like to add a character.
Oh, go ahead.
Today I'm Haman's wife, furious with him because he made me have 10 sons.
Oh my goodness.
If anybody doesn't know.
You know why that was?
And why?
Because
He's very virile.
No, because he lived under the reign of King Ron DeSantis, and they didn't believe in it. They didn't believe in abortion. There was no right to abortion then, and so he ended up having all these kids. All right, let me just share a little bit about this story, because it's really quite remarkable. But first I have to tell you a very sad story about God. You know, God was looking very glum one day. One of the angels say, "Hey God, why are you looking so despondent?" He said, "I'm in love with an atheist. She doesn't even know I exist." So many people believe... It's sad. Many people go around blaming atheists and humanists and liberals and reconstructionists and reform for getting rid of God and causing him not to exist. It really has nothing to do with them. It's really the evidence, all right? It's based on evidence. You know, we look around and we say, okay, where is the evidence for this supernatural being who's like watching over us and protecting us? And sadly, many people don't see the evidence. And so they conclude, well, I guess Judaism's not for me because it's based on this supernatural being. I don't believe in it, so I don't have to worry about Judaism. That's a very sad thing. Because we Jews have an important role to do. A very important role. When the world gets despondent and dark, we're the light to the nations. We are incurable optimists. We're the people who believe that miracles can happen because we've made them happen. We're the only people that resurrected a language considered dead, Hebrew, and made it a spoken language and a language of hope. The name of our national anthem. We're the only people who took a homeland and returned to it speaking the same language as we did thousands of years ago. Israel is the only people that is attacked by a country called Syria repeatedly over and over and over again. And then when they have a regime that butchers its people, Israel comes to their defense. When there's an earthquake, Israel comes and helps them, helps their enemies. Israel lives up to ideals. It's the hope of humanity. And so it's a shame when people are willing to toss away this incredible, beautiful heritage, this vital role that we have in the world today, because they don't believe in this concept. So let us be very, very clear. We live in a time, unlike our ancestors, when we know a whole lot of things. We know also that in this story, God is not mentioned. God is like... maybe it was written by an atheist. God doesn't exist in the story, except if you believe an understanding of God, a modern interpretation of God as a power that is in awe, that unites awe, that transcends awe, that is constantly changing what is into what could be. And if you accept the Jewish mission of channeling that change into what should be, then you'll see that God is there all along, because God is a power and a force inside each one of us, a creative power that can lead us to do great things. So Esther, her name means hidden. Esther means hidden. She was a missing Persian. She hid her Judaism. But when the time came, she stepped up and remembered her Judaism. Mordecai helped. She was encouraged. And she was a missing Persian no more. She risked her life and she saved her people. She left her comfort zone in order to be a blessing. We, my friends, we live in a comfort zone here. We're in a bubble. The world is going through horrible times. People are suffering all over. Our planet is in dire straits, and we need to leave our comfort zone. We need to give up some of our creature comforts. We need to make do with less. We need to reduce our carbon footprint. We need to sacrifice like they did during World War II when they said that we need to all work together. And the Jewish people need to lead that charge because people are giving up. People are just ready to throw in the towel and think, we Jewish people, we know that we can always change this world. Like Margaret Mead said, never doubt that a small group of people can change the world. It's the only thing that ever has. And so on this Women's History Month, we celebrate the courage of women throughout history like Queen Esther, who stepped up and did the right thing. We celebrate the women of Iran who are speaking out for freedom. We celebrate the women in the state of Florida who are standing up to challenge a law that says that you no longer have control over your own reproductive system. We'll tell you what to do. King of Ron DeSantis is saying that the Jewish religion no longer applies. We're going to apply Christian nationalism, and we're going to impose our will upon yours. He just came out with a book, The Courage to Be Free. And we asked him, this congregation, the first one to file a lawsuit to challenge abortion laws, do you also respect the right of Jewish women to be free of your laws and to be free to practice Judaism as we understand it and be free to exercise control over our own reproductive systems? Do you recognize the right of other people to be free other than people who think and act like you? And do you recognize academic freedom in the universities? Do you recognize the right of African Americans to tell their own story even if you disagree with it? Does everybody have the right to be free, or only people who think like you do? And so on this Purim, we celebrate freedom and we celebrate courage, and we say to ourselves, as Mordecai said, do not imagine that you of all the Jews will escape by being in the king's palace. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise from some other place. And so we say to ourselves, can we be a little Messiah? Instead of waiting for a divine supernatural being to send a Messiah, let us recognize, my friends, that the word Messiah starts with M-E, starts with me. The last part of Messiah is Yah, which means God, which means there's a creative power for good within us. And in the middle you got Si, which is Spanish for yes. Let us say yes, because if all of us, all of the Jewish people in the world are little messiahs, instead of waiting for divine deliverance, realize it's coming from within us, and realize that there's a power that some refer to as God, that power is strong and alive and well within us. Will we recognize that? And when we wake up and our Judaism is hidden no more, then we can save this world. My friends, we Jews sometimes suffer from self-imposed identity theft. We have allowed others to take our identity away from us. Esther is from Ishtar. It's related to the word star. We were formed from the stars. Mordecai is related to Marduk. It's related to Mars and Mercury. It means that we were formed from the elements of the heavens. We are all superstars. Let us reclaim our identity. Let us remember that we're Jews. Let us take a stand. And let us all work together. Because together we can indeed make this world a better place, and we can save humanity from itself. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. Let us celebrate Jewish survival, and let us use that survival to help our planet as well survive. Chag Sameach. And now we're going to sing in honor of the Jewish survival that we remember on Purim. The story of Purim is actually fictitious, but the story of Purim actually happened over and over. The Jews have been threatened repeatedly, and repeatedly we were able to survive because of heroic deeds. We survived the Romans, the Greeks and Babylonians, and proudly fly Kachol Velavan. Guided by sages throughout the ages, we've thrived while they are long gone. Here we still are, led by a star from afar that we still wish upon. Forevermore, L'Dor Va-Dor, our lives are blessed with chesed and values that go on and on. In our hopes and our dreams, the world seems so splendid with marvels that we gaze upon. Our slumber has ended, our neshama has transcended, and the dreams of our prophets live on. Everyone, we're here to greet a new year, and our vision and our mission of peace goes on. Here we still are, led by a star in the night, shedding light with a faith that goes on and on. Here we still are, led by a star from afar that we wish upon. Forevermore, L'Dor Va-Dor, our lives are blessed with chesed and values that go on and on. We celebrate the survival of the Jewish people, and we continue now with one of the favorite Purim songs with an updated version added at the end. Oh, once there was a wicked, wicked man.
Oh, once there was a wicked,
Everybody.
wicked man, and Haman was his name, sir. He tried to murder all the Jews, but they were not to blame, sir. Oh, today we'll merry, merry be. Oh, today we'll merry, merry be. Oh, today we'll merry, merry be. And Nashtam, Holman, Tashin, and Esther was the lovely queen of King Ahasuerus. With Haman he killed the Jews. Oh, how thou didst scare us. Oh, today we'll merry, merry be. Oh, today we'll merry, merry be. Oh, today we'll merry, merry be. And Nashtam, Holman, Tashin.
Today there is a wicked, wicked man. This killer's name is Putin. He lied and lied about Ukraine, and then he started shooting. Oh, the day will merry, merry be when we have ended Putin's tyranny. Oh, the day will merry, merry be when Putin's been arrested. Today there is a wicked, wicked man. This tyrant's name is Putin. He is the worst thug in the land. Of that there's no disputing. Oh, the day will merry, merry be when we have ended Putin's tyranny. Oh, the day will merry, merry be when Putin's been arrested. Thank you, Ruth, for celebrating with us on Purim and adding to the joy of this day. We continue now with Aleinu v'ne'emar. If you would like to do so, feel free to stand and join us for
Body, mind,
Aleinu.
or spirit. Aleinu l'shabbeach l'adon hakol l'atei gedula l'yotzer bereshit shelo asanu goyei haratzot velo samanu k'mishpichot hadama shelo sam kilkenu kahem v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam ve'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai melech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu
for the Kaddish? Before we read the Kaddish, we mention the names of those who have recently been summoned from us: Simon Calfon, Dave Cohen, Louis Greenberg, Sarah Kowalski, Robert Langley, Harvey Metzger, Hilda Nadelberg, Linda Pruskin, Jean Roberts, Rhoda Rotman, Rana Savage, Carol Wilkinson. And the anniversary of whose departure occurs these days: Elda Bernstein, Louis Bernstein, Charles Beyer, Manny Brucker, Sarah Butler, Richard Chapnick, Alice Cohen, David Dworkin, Sandra Furman, Blanche Zeitz Gitterman, Esther Glass, Bessie Glauberman, Jacob Glauberman, Louise Graff, Lori Grosky, Charlotte Harris, Horace Hecht, Paul Kesslin, Rose Kraft, Martin Krause, Joseph L. Cromash, Larry Lieberman, Eileen Melnick, Jack Nodiff, Jeffrey Malone Parrish, Sam Perlman, Bernard Posner, Dorothy Posner, Solomon Purish, Ruben Radak, Jane Rosenblum, Sarah Seid, Joyce Seligman, and Bernard Silverman. Any other names that you'd like to recall? Yes? Thanks. Yes? Anybody else? Yes?
David Kanowitz and Sheila Levine.
Yes? Can't see with that light on you. Yes? Yes.
Back there.
Yes, in the back. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yes, go ahead.
My mother's name, Sheila Trout.
Very good. We hope that you're inspired by your mom and that we're all inspired by our parents and our loved ones and our dear ones to make their lives a blessing by having their influence live on through us to bring about good deeds in this world. As together we read the Kaddish. Yiskedal v'yiskadash shemeh Rabbah v'yalmad yivrach ruseh v'yamlich malchuseh v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh l'chol beis Yisrael v'agalav izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivorach le'olam ulmei u'maya yisparach v'yistabach v'yispor v'yischumam v'yisnaseh v'yisadar v'yisaleh v'yisalal shemei l'kedusha b'rechu le'elam en kol berchasa v'shirasa Tishbechasa v'nechamasa Dam Yechon v'yoma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlam araba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom v'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Please be seated. I call up Sharon Leibovitz for her comments and announcements.
Thank you all. Thank you, Rabbi Barry. Thank you, Cantor Carol, or Queen Carol. Thank you, Howard. Thank you, Ruth, at the piano. And thank you all for coming and celebrating Shabbat and Purim with us. If you could please give us back the groggers and the musical instruments at the end. We have boxes and tubs for them. Thank you so much. Not now, when we're ready to leave. L'Dor Va-Dor welcomes one and all, and we welcome you, and everyone is welcome through our doors. Thank you so much for coming. Tuesday, March 14th, we have our Touch of Torah, 7 p.m., with a rational interpretation of Torah study on Zoom. Okay, and next week we have a lucky Shabbat. So join us here at 7:30 p.m. at the Grand Villa of Delray West for Shabbat, a lucky Shabbat on March 17th. And on April 3rd, Monday, April 3rd at 12:30 p.m., we will have our L'Dor Va-Dor Community Passover Seder. We welcome one and all to go to our website and to sign up and come to our wonderful Seder with Cantor Carol and with Rabbi Barry. We invite one and all to our Seder. Thank you. You can find us on social media, on YouTube, on our website, ledorvador.org, on our Facebook page, on Instagram, and we just were set up on TikTok by Madison tonight. So thank you very much for supporting our congregation and being with us, and I thank you all for joining us. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.
And if you didn't hear me, feel free to wear green next week in honor of Lucky Shabbat.
My friends, it's time for the final benediction. Let us all remember that we are children of the universe. We were actually, every element of our body was forged in stars far away and long ago. We are superstars. We are part of this wonderful celestial universe. And the odds against us being here If you were to replay the beginning of the earth and replay it to now, the odds against us being here are astronomical. We defied all the odds. Now that we're here, now that we live in America, now that we're free, let us use our wonderful heritage to make our lives, the lives of those around us in this world. Let us make it a better place. Let us be missing persons no more. And let us remember our Jewish identity. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Chag
Amen.
Sameach. And now we're going to have the motzi. Don't run off because we got some good food. I don't know if... I'm sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat tonight. Sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat in honor of Women's History Month. The courage of women throughout history and here in Florida to stand up and protect our rights. And I'm also celebrating the fact that I coach my son in basketball, and last week he scored 33 points in one half. In one half. It's a record for the entire history of the league, and I feel very, very lucky to have such a son who learned how to play basketball in spite of the handicap of having me teach him. Thank you very much. Enjoy the oneg. Stick around and don't run off. And now the motzi.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
I committed to a service in 1 hour. This is our happy hour. We started at 7:31. We made it. Now we're going to continue with Shabbat.
Ani Purim. Ani Purim.
Ani Purim.
Ani Purim. Sameach umbadeach. Halo rak pa'am bashana. Avola hitareach. Yai 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 yai. Ani Purim. Ani Purim. Sameach umbadeach. Halo rak pa'am bashana. Avola hitareach. Yai 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 yai.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Howard, Madison, Sharon, Suzanne. And I thank all of you for being here to join us and supporting Rational Judaism. Bring your friends. Bring your adversaries. Bring people of a different party, of a different religion. Let everybody come and join together and celebrate. Chag Sameach.